thanks for joining us for Priya's Pick. This is something new we're doing. You might know that after episode 15, we decided to take a little bit of a break just to have a chance to kind of regroup, to listen back and watch some of the old episodes, take some notes, figure out, what's working, what should we change. If you have any feedback yourself, please feel free to send it my way. My email address here at the bottom of the screen you can see is hello@priyasam.com. That's where you can reach us with your feedback. I think you all know I love a good turning point story. That's why the name of the show is Turning Point. We've shared so many incredible stories in the first 15 episodes. But one of the other things that I'm really enjoying is being able to hear about other parts of people's lives too. The interviews often branch off, of course, into other areas. And I don't know about you, but I love a good love story. And two of my favorites I'm going to share with you today. One is from episode 3 with Jonathan Torrance, aka J-Rock from Trailer Park Boys. He talks about how he first met his wife. And then also from episode 5 of Turning Point with Leanne Forker. And this one sounds like it's straight out of a movie about how she met her wife. So stay tuned for those in a couple of minutes here. I'm going to play the clips. But I thought, why not share my own love story while I'm at it? So you may, if you're on my social media, you may have caught glimpses here and there of Duncan. He is not super active on social media, but we've been together for just over 7 years. We've been engaged for almost 3 years. It honestly kind of feels like we might be engaged forever at this point. We did have to cancel our wedding for the second time, which has been, obviously it's disappointing. But at the same time, we have a lot to be grateful for during this pandemic and are really grateful to be together in the same city, because for a while we were Duncan was in Halifax and I was in Toronto. And of course, we're really grateful to have our health right now too. But back to when we met. So we met in 2013, technically, for the first time. So at the time, Duncan was in law school at Dalhousie in Halifax in Canada. And I was also there. I was doing my master's in journalism, and my roommate happened to be one of Duncan's law school classmates. So anyway, she asked me to come to this event. It was a fundraiser, a coffee house. Everyone was kind of, there were several people from their law school class who were performing. And as soon as we walked in, there was a group of people on stage playing music, and the guitar player was none other than Duncan. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, he's very cute. And my friend of my roommate said, oh, he's the nicest guy. I'll introduce you. So she does. She introduces us after he's done on stage, and I start talking to him, and I've got my A game out. I'm definitely flirting, and he is not interested at all. He was very polite, but definitely not returning my flirtation. So I, kind of was like, okay, whatever. That's too bad, but he's not interested. Anyway, half an hour later, my friend comes back over and says, I'm so sorry, but he has a girlfriend. I didn't know when I introduced you. So I was a little embarrassed, but then I thought, whatever, I'm probably never going to see this guy again. Who cares? So anyway, that was what I thought was the end of that. But then a few months later, my roommate and I had a party, and she invited a bunch of people from her class, including Duncan. So at this party, I think back to your university days, or college days, or really just younger days when nobody had a lot of money and you were trying to get creative with your party. So one of the things we used to do is we used to have these sandwich parties, we called them, where everyone would bring an ingredient, and some people would bring cheese slices, and then some people would bring caramelized onions, or somebody at this particular party I remember brought homemade bacon jam. It was delicious. Anyway, everyone brings ingredients. Then we kind of slap them all together and make these what we thought at the time were gourmet sandwiches. So I was in charge. I have a gluten allergy, so I was in charge of making the gluten-free sandwiches. And conveniently, Duncan also has a gluten allergy. He's actually celiac. So somebody directs him to me. He comes over and says, "Oh, hey, I hear you're in charge of making the gluten-free sandwiches. I'm actually celiac, so." So then, of course, we start talking, and we're really getting along. He's super nice. Like seem to be having a good time. But now, of course, I'm concerned because I'm like, do you have a girlfriend? Are you single? Like, so I, like any good journalist, put my sources into action, mobilize the troops, and finally I hear that he is now single. He has broken up with the girlfriend who was part of his life at the first time we met, and really the rest is history. We just really hit it off, and then we started dating not long after that. So there you go, the story of how two people connected over their gluten allergies, and to this day it is very convenient for our relationship that we both have gluten allergies. All right, enough about me. I hope you enjoy this little throwback to two of my favorite Turning Point love stories, one from Jonathan Torrance in episode 3 and the other from Leanne Forker in episode 5.
So I was at the end of a relationship in Los Angeles and moved home and was kind of in this career transition. I didn't know if I wanted to work in TV. Like I said, I wasn't a carpenter and auditioning for like America's Cutest Puppy. That was another audition I had. Like, tonight, the K9 moves into the mansion. America, the phone lines are open.
I mean, like, you have the voice for it.
Is that what I meant, though?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, you're the puppy guy.
Right.
No one wants that rap.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved back, and my manager in LA kept saying, you need new headshots, new pictures taken to use as promotion. And I was like, man, I might go back to Compu College. I might be a realtor. Like, I don't really know. I was kind of licking my wounds, trying to figure out what was next. So I bought this house, and my friend Mike, who's a photographer and he's a contractor, we fixed it up together. And every couple of months, my manager would call and say, you need to get these headshots done. And I was like, man, I'm still not really there yet. After a year of fixing this house up, Mike, the contractor guy, said, why don't we take pictures in this space that we've created because we're finished? And so I said, sure. He said, my friend Carol took a makeup course and she could do your makeup. And so, as Lady Fate would have it, on that day, I opened the door and saw the love of my life standing there, and swear on the eyes of my children, thought, there you are. I have never before or since had a physical reaction to another human being. Started talking 1,000 miles a minute, but in my head was like, man, would you play it cool? So it's the best acting I've ever done, was pretending I wasn't interested in Carol. I assumed she'd probably had a lot of attention based on the way she looked. I also gleaned quite quickly she would find that boring because there's more depth to her than her physical beauty. I often say she's smarter than she is beautiful, and she's funnier than she is smart. So there's a lot of layers to that little onion. And yeah, that was it, man. I was done.
But let's jump back to Scotland. So you came to Canada, you went back to Scotland, you continue to build your personal training business there. And then we have to talk about this story about how you met your wife, because I honestly, when you told me, I couldn't believe it. It just sounded like you were telling me something from a movie that you watched. So tell me, I'm going to let you take this away. Tell me everything.
Yeah, so how I met my wife is pretty crazy. So yeah, I know I had been single for some time, and I had just joined a dating app called Tinder. I've never used it before, and literally just went on and did a few swipe rights, what everyone does, and then Lindsay popped up, swipe right, and it matched. And so I messaged her, and I saw that we had mutual connections, and turns out her mutual connections were friends that lived across the road from me, and also went to school with at high school. And that was actually turned out to be her cousins, but obviously I didn't know this at the time. So we started messaging and chatting, and then we found all that out. And Lindsay actually only came over to surprise her cousins for her bachelorette. Now, she would never have done that before if she was living in Canada, because at this point she had just moved to Germany for a year's assignment for Adidas. And that weekend that she moved there, she came over to surprise her cousins for the bachelorette in Scotland. So if she didn't have this opportunity in Germany, she would never have came over for this bachelorette. We probably wouldn't have met. and we got chatting. We then visited each other. I flew to Germany, she flew to Scotland, and we did that for almost a year before I then decided that, I'd move to Canada because it just went so well from there. So, yeah.